All right, I want to. I actually I should have talked to Nelson about this. Just sometimes I go off on my own. I thought that this was like a good thing that we can do like each week because people love countdowns. I love countdowns. I love listicles. I love that kind of stuff. So I thought, and there's always a top something type of debate to have. There's always something like that, right? You can you can base it off what's happening in the world right now, anything, right? So I thought let's start off talking about our top five Lakers of all time. Now I'm pretty positive that our top five is going to be very different because
Yeah, probably.
um for the Lakers because Nelson likes he overrates some folk um in a major way in my opinion. So uh, I'm just saying
Well, the blasphemy was said on this show that you would take Ray Allen over Kobe Bryant in any situation, just
I
so the
would.
people are reminded about
I
what
would.
what the context of this discussion is going to be. Now, just for clarification, is this top five favorite or the top or the best players that ever wore a Laker uniform?
The best players. I mean, because you know, I really like Derek Fisher, but I'm not going. I like Derek Fisher more than I like Kobe, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit up here and try to act like Derek Fisher was a better player than Kobe. That's insane. So
Okay.
you know, so yeah, the top five players ever in in terms of their quality in Laker history. You can go first if you like.
Well,
I mean,
Kareem number one.
okay,
Um, see number two. I'm gonna say Magic.
okay.
I'm gonna say Magic number two.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Kobe over Shaq at number three.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm gonna qualify that a little bit because I think when they were together, Shaq was the overall most dominant factor.
Mhm.
But if I look at Shaq's career by itself and his career as a Laker, I mean, first of all, Kobe was there longer, so of course he's gonna do more in every category.
Right.
But while Shaq was there, the being out of shape, the all the years before Kobe like got to Kobe-ness, we talked about before with Jordan how the league was different when Kobe became Kobe. Like
Yeah.
he brought the league up, and obviously so did Iverson and a couple of other guys, but that was a significant thing. And I felt like Shaq could have been better as a Laker, and he coasted. And he says that he coasted. He coasted because of Kobe, and for that reason, I'm gonna give Kobe the edge over Shaq. And then Shaq would be after Kobe. And then after that, um, I mean, I'm not gonna. Okay, and here's another caveat. I'm not gonna talk about nobody that I wasn't alive to see play.
Mm.
So I'm not talking about Wilt Chamberlain or Jerry West because I didn't watch them play. I didn't know their game. Like I could easily put Wilt Chamberlain second or third theoretically. I mean, but at the bottom line is championships matter most in this situation. So if you won a whole bunch of championships with the Lakers and you won one or two, then you get pushed to the back of the line because you didn't get it done. But I didn't see Wilt play like an entire two basketball games beginning to end. I seen like one game against the Knicks. So I'm not gonna pick him off of history books. I don't make lists off of that. That's a debate for a statistician who can talk about pace of play and the times he was, playing against a bunch of guys who, was serving drinks in their off time and then later on post merger. Yeah, well, did he even get into the post merger era or he stopped before, right? He merged in
I think
'75. When did he retire?
73, 74. I think is his last season.
Yeah, so I ain't talking about nobody post merger because I was born in almost 1979. I was born at the very end of '78, so I'm not talking about nobody I never saw play. So then the last one,
72, 73 is his last year.
okay, and Kareem gave him that work anyway. But the last one for me, if I was to take one guy on my team all time that I've seen play, it would probably it's between James Worthy and Pau Gasol.
Mm.
It is tough because at his peak, At his peak with the Lakers, Powell was a better defender, hit shots, hit free throws, turn over both shoulders, shut down Dwight Howard. But I'm gonna have to go with James Worthy on that one. I go with James Worthy.
Big
That's my
game, James.
list.
Big game, James.
That's my list.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna quote Giannis. That's a good pick. That's a good. It's a good pick. But I'm gonna have to include some people from yesteryear. I cannot make a top five list of players from a franchise as storied as the Lakers and say I'm not gonna include people from yesteryear. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Like I can't ignore that history. I can't, right? Because I I'm not necessarily comparing them to each other. Like, okay, would I if this guy was playing against this guy, would he be better? I'm more talking about the impact on the franchise and what they meant to that particular franchise. So their value to the franchise. And I do think that you can estimate that without having watched them play. I mean, you look at things like you said, championships, you look at things like tenure, you look at the way they dominated or were looked at in their time period with during their time. So that's why I don't necessarily compare players to each other head to head. I compare their impact, so to speak. And I do think you can kind of gauge that to a degree.
You know what's funny? According to impact, the only thing that would change about my list is I would put Magic first, Kareem second, Kobe third, and then I would say I would put Jerry West on the list,
Hmm.
but it's because of also what he did as a GM. I like we know that now, and we
Hmm.
know how intrinsic to the Laker culture that he was.
Hmm.
But I was picking on the basis of who would I pick if I want to win games,
Okay,
right?
yes, that's yeah, that's
And
definitely
and
different.
if I picked a lineup of Kareem, Shaq, Kobe, Magic, and James Worthy, I'm like, throw me whoever you got.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what
I
I'm
definitely
saying?
now that would definitely be different. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's a different context. My list is more about the greatest Lakers. So
yeah,
it's just who are the greatest Lakers, and because and I think that our list probably would be more similar if you were thinking in the lines that I was thinking. Magic is my number one.
yeah.
He is the number one. Absolutely, I think he's the
Which
greatest
by
Laker.
your criteria, we both agree.
Yeah, I think he's the greatest Laker of all time. My number two is actually Kobe.
Hmm.
I cannot ignore the tenure. I cannot ignore the 100% Laker, existence through that and out there. I mean, we got one of the longest careers in NBA history, and every single year is with this franchise.
Yeah,
Um, the quality of every year, just about, sans the rookie year, the quality of every year is significant. The
yeah.
amount of things that he accomplished in the Laker uniform. I mean, you could take number 8 Kobe and number 24 Kobe and have two really, really
And
good
they
careers.
both might make the list.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I gotta give him that. The reason why Kareem is below him for me is because now if we were talking about just Kareem as an overall player, I would definitely have Kareem higher. I'd have Kareem higher than everybody on this list. But as a Laker, I think he falls to number three because Kareem's best years were with Milwaukee. He still had good, really, really great years with
That's how
with the
great
Lakers.
he was.
Yeah,
That
that's how great he
even
was.
when he comes down, it's like LeBron. Like LeBron
Yes.
is not what he was in Miami and
No.
Cleveland, but he's still arguably the best player.
Yeah, he's
And
right in there.
that Kareem was like that as a big, where he was
Yes.
best big man in the league pretty much
Yes.
for most of his
Yeah, like
time.
like we were talking about Wilt, and Wilt
Yeah,
once said, I was looking at an interview he did. He said when that guy came along, he was like, he was the first dude that came along, and I looked around and I looked at coaches and said, I need help,
yeah.
and for Wilt Chamberlain to say, I need help
Well,
guarding
he
him.
right. He did need help.
Yeah,
You watched him
to-
play.
for him
Oh,
to
he need
say
help.
that,
Help Will. He need
yeah,
help.
for him to admit that
Yeah,
that's some high praise. So, but as a Laker, I would put him third because of the quality of the other of the guys that who have played for the franchise. For me, fourth would be Shaq. And the only reason I put Shaq ahead of the person I have fifth is because of the championships. Um, Shaq could have probably been first or second on this list, but for some of the same reasons that you mentioned, coasting, having some less than desirable commitment to the franchise in certain years, I think hurts him on this list. But you still cannot deny the greatness.
One
You
thing I
know,
think that's not said a lot about Shaq is Shaq's time in LA was largely really, really ideal. Like
hmm
you talk about all-time great coach, played
hmm
with the second best shooting guard of all time as he approached his prime. And you talk about the rest of the roster, not slouches, man. Glenn Rice and Ron Harper and Horace Grant and Dennis Rodman and like Derek Fisher. Like he got surrounded. Like if Shaq had the mentality of like a Tim Duncan,
hmm
it'd have been ridiculous.
yeah, man, it would have been. It
Yeah,
would have
and
been.
that's why I knock him down a little bit because
Yeah.
look, 3 out of 4 is not bad. Going to the finals, 4 times and getting three, and how great the West was. They beat Tim Duncan. You know
hmm
what I'm saying? Like Tim Duncan and Pop. Like that's that. They had real competition to get to the finals that many times. It's
And
like
the
extraordinary.
Kings, man,
Kings very, very revolutionized the
Portland,
game,
Portland.
right?
Yeah,
Revolutionized the game, and a lot of talent out west when that was happening. And Utah was
yeah,
out there, right?
yeah,
They were still trying to do it.
yeah.
So but I do knock him down because he could have been better. And it was 3 championships, but it could have been more.
It could have been more. It definitely could have been more. And my number five is Jerry West.
Jerry West, yeah,
Jerry West, I mean, he might be the longest tenured Laker, even more than Kobe. I don't know if Kobe might have passed him. But
yeah. I
I,
think
I have
Kobe's the
him only
longest.
fifth because of the lack of championships when compared to everybody else. But I gotta put him on this list ahead of Wilt Chamberlain because just like Kareem, Wilt's best years were not with the Lakers.
Right.
Wilt was an older player when he got to the Lakers. He was still very good, but he was not the same guy. I mean, Wilt didn't get to the Lakers until he was 32 years old. And he only played the last 5 years of his career with the Lakers. And the Lakers were the only team that he played for where he almost lost an entire season to injury. So 69, 70 years season, he only played 12 games. So he was hurt like almost that whole season. But the crazy thing about Wilt was 36 years old last season. He played 72, 73 season. He led the league in rebounding, led the league in field goal percentage. He averaged 13 points and 18.6 rebounds a game. No telling how many blocks, because they weren't even keeping block shots as an official statistic then. But that was as a 36-year-old big, right? That's crazy, you know. But I like I said, first of all, he only played 5 years with the Lakers. So everybody else on this list played a good amount of time. Like I would say much more. What did Shaq play? Like 8 years with the Lakers, maybe? It
Yeah, he was
feels
there for a
like
minute. Yeah. Yeah,
something to that effect, right? So from a tenure standpoint, he just wasn't there, nearly as long as those other guys. So that's the reason why I don't have him there. But West, I mean, and the other thing is West is the logo.
yeah. I mean,
He's the logo. So even though I've all long said that the logo should be changed to Michael Jordan, but
I agree.
you can't do that without insulting Jerry West. So why would you
And
insult Jerry West?
also, you know what? I will say this: as big of an impact as Mike had as a player, Jerry West, if you combine him as a player and a GM, I think has had a bigger hand overall because he has been basically dominating the NBA for like 60 years or something ridiculous.
Yeah, he's
Like
had a
it's a
significant
lot.
presence, I would
Like
say.
it's a lot. It's a lot. He's done a lot. And also, let's just be honest. And we didn't really, this ain't on the list to talk about, but they asked Michael Jordan. I'm sure you saw this. What was more significant,
Yeah,
Westbrook's triple double
I
streak
loved it.
breaking Wilts and James Harden with the 30 in a row, right? We don't care about that on this show. That was more significant. That's a dumb question. But the answer that Mike gave, what do I think is hardest as a player?
Yeah.
6 championships.
Yes.
Ain't nobody ask you about your championships. Why is he still so petty? And
No.
Mazique, Michael Jordan is my favorite player of all time. All right. That's harder for me as a Knicks fan than it is for you as a kid from Chicago. It's more difficult, and I love him anyway. What's wrong with him? Why can't you just be happy and let other people have nice things?
Yeah. You know what? I did not have not, and I'm usually the one that's critical of Mike, right? But I did not have a problem with that. I thought it was
I ain't say I had a problem. I said, what's wrong with you?
I think it was dope. I thought it was
Why
awesome,
ain't nobody ask him that?
but it was dope because it was like, who has the right to say something like that? Him. He's the one that has the right to say something like that. Like he can say that.
A
You
lot
know
of
what I
people
mean?
say a lot of things.
Like
Answer the
not
question.
I mean, his whole thing was, well, first of all, Russell Westbrook broke his record with the straight triple doubles. So that's him
He had
still,
3 triple doubles ago.
huh?
Three triple
Yeah,
doubles ago.
but that's him still.
Ain't nobody in league history competing with Russ in triple doubles. Y'all can all let that go. Big O, you sit down too. It's over.
It's over,
It's over.
right? But the thing of it is it could be over, but he ain't got no championships yet.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. No one has ever said Russell Westbrook is better than Michael Jordan,
But you
and
know, I understand. I
and he
understand.
pays Westbrook a check for wearing his sneakers.
Yes, yes.
You pay this man
But I
to sell
love
your
it. I
shoes.
love it because you can't turn it off. When you are a competitor like him, and that's the reason why he was as great as he was. Yes, he was a great athlete. Yes, he was a skilled guy and all that. But Mike was a maniacal
I know the most
competitor.
maniacal. In fact, that's why all of the and you thought Hakeem was as good as Michael Jordan,
No, I
but
didn't. No, my God.
they
You
all
see
heard
how
you on the
you
show.
twist?
They all heard you.
That is not what I
They
said.
all
I
heard you.
said that the gap
You said
between
you said he
Mike
was
and
close.
Hakeem was not as
Close
big
is
as,
just as wrong
no,
as better.
no. I did not say
That
close.
because it was
I
you
did
said
not say
close.
close.
Get the tapes.
No,
Y'all
I
see the
did
tapes.
not
And hit
say
me up in the comment
close.
section if
I
y'all can find
never
that clip.
said close. I said, and you know what? The beauty of editing is that this clip, exactly what I said, will be
Good.
injected right here.
But you gonna put poor portion of work
And,
proving you wrong.
you
Watch
doggone right.
y'all gonna see
That's
a
right.
cut. You're gonna lip sync. You're gonna see
Yeah.
Mazique's lips
No,
moving in
no,
one way. He gonna change his words. Y'all
no,
watch the old YouTube video.
no. We go. The old YouTube video is here.
The thing is, but the difference between him and Kevin Durant is relatively small compared to the difference between Michael Jordan and whoever you think was the second best player at that time. Hakeem, Charles Barkley, I don't care. I don't care who you want to say. It's not even close. So I don't think it's close. I don't even think it's the same universe. Whereas
So first and
there's
foremost,
certain teams.
I don't think the gap between Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon was as large as you make it appear to be. Hakeem was just a different dude, and I think that you can look at statistics, you can look at his impact on his teammates, you can look at a lot of things. But Hakeem Olajuwon was the second best player in that era, and I think that Michael was a better player for sure. But I don't think that the gap was 2 days long as you made it appear. So in telling you, I said the gap between Mike and Olajuwon is not as big as everybody says. It was not as big as you were saying.
I
Hakeem
was saying
Olajuwon
my
was a great player.
barometer was that the gap between Michael and the next best player was bigger than the gap between LeBron and KD or Giannis or whoever you want to throw up
Oh,
there.
now that's true.
Oh,
That's true.
now you agree with me.
That's true.
See,
No,
y'all see how
that's
he
true.
do.
That's a different wording. That's true. It is bigger. It is bigger.
Sad.
Because it was not, because Mike was, it wasn't even arguable.
No.
He was the best player. He was the best player.
And my point was second best wasn't a threat.
I would agree with that. It wasn't a
Second, it
threat.
wasn't like he coming up on his heels. No, it was when Mike finished eating, then y'all eat. LeBron gotta keep his eye on his plate, or there's a couple of strips of bacon that Giannis might be eating. KD might take his mashed potatoes if he don't hold his plate tight and high. Mike could leave his plate on the table, go outside, mow the lawn, throw the football with the kids, come back. Every calorie is still on that plate. Ain't nobody taking a morsel off of Michael Jordan's plate while he was in his prime. And so all your arguments about Hakeem make it sound like that what I said ain't right. You was arguing to argue. It's
Well,
okay, I
here's the
forgive
thing.
you.
Here's the
It's I
thing.
forgive you. You gotta
You
try and win
can't
when you
even
can.
say that because they never played each other head to head in the finals.
You know why? They was in the same league. Why didn't they play each other head to head?
That's
Because the
because
people
no,
that
that's
that
because the
Michael
Rockets
Jordan
team,
beat down in the finals, Hakeem couldn't even get through.
that
Not
the
once.
Rockets team hit their stride. Happened to hit their stride when Mike left.
Yeah, he got in twice while Mike was asleep. Mike was out playing
I
two
mean,
different
believe you
sports.
me, we had many of discussions in Chicago about whether or not our Bulls teams would have beat those two Rockets teams.
I hope those were short discussions.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Hakeem was the best big man in the league. And they had the Rockets. I believe the Bulls would have won.
Of course they would.
But the Bulls had, I mean, the Rockets did have higher basketball IQ across the floor than the teams that the Bulls beat in terms of teams with a dominant big.
I'm gonna close it like this. You talk about how competitive Michael Jordan was.
Mm-hmm.
That Clyde Drexler year, Michael Jordan would rather die slowly of
Then let
something
Clyde
very
beat them.
painful. Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah, let Clyde beat him. That would have been, oh my God.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, dunking on Jeff Hornacek and John Stockton, he's like, yeah, we're fine. You saw Clyde on the other side suiting up. He might have averaged 45 points a game.
Yeah, I mean, but
55% shooting.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying that Rockets team was a different challenge for the Bulls than some of those other teams, the other teams that we beat. They would have been a different challenge because of the length across. I mean, Robert Ory is what I mean. They had some different challenges there. So it would have been I would have loved to have seen it.
I would have loved to have seen it. I would have loved to have seen the Bulls beat that team too.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to see him beat them. Believe me, I would have loved to see him win. I'm just saying that from a basketball standpoint.
But here's the thing, though. You were there, man. I felt it was extremely clear that nobody won taking no championships from Michael Jordan after he won. After the second one,
See, but we didn't feel like that.
It was it's because y'all's home team. I'm telling you, in the rest of America, it was just Gatorade commercial playing until he went to the Wizards. All right.
See, I don't see. I think that's the way people look at it when they're, like you said, it's not their team, because when it's not your team, you like I put it like this.
So you're saying hometown fans are more objective?
No,
that's a new perspective.
I think we worry more.
Yes, you do. Yes, and that is my point. So we agree on the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like with the Patriots, right? Everybody just looks at it and goes, "Oh God, yeah, they're gonna win." But Patriot fans are analyzing every possible weakness that their team has every year, and so that and we see what their weaknesses are because we watch every single play every single time, and we see what things gives our team problems. But on the outside, all you keep seeing is just championships and banners getting put up.
It's so amazing that you can apply that to Michael Jordan, but when it comes to Derrick Rose, you just
what are you talking about?
You just can't see.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Can't see the truth. I know you don't. I
have no idea what you're talking
about. But we have a show to close out.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You, in a roundabout kind way, you just told the audience exactly how and why Chicago fans is delusional, and I appreciate that.
Oh, now you know what? I will 100% agree with you that Chicago fans are perhaps the most delusional fan base in the world. People in Chicago,
not with the Dallas Cowboys existing.
Oh my God, man! People in Chicago overvalue every single trade piece the Bulls have. You should see some of the stuff you see on Bulls forums in terms of trades that people have concocted.
I can imagine.
They'll be like, "Hey, you should trade Jabari Parker for DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry." I like Jabari for that they would. I'm like, dude, it's a trade. Like both teams have to like it. Like this ain't 2K with trade override turned on.
You do whatever you want.
Just do it. I'm like, it's crazy. But anyway,